The audience is advised that the following program involves themes which could be disturbing for some viewers.
Have you told Mum and Dad that you want to kill someone?
Tonight on Spotlight,
How old are you?
14.
evil of a teenage killer.
We're going to charge you with murdering Bridget.
It's the worst case I've seen.
Who took the life of this beautiful little girl.
I can twinkle like a star.
Now, for the first time,
I did not think I had the power to do this.
we can tell you her name.
I'm the father of Bridget Charlize Adele Biddy Porter.
Show her face.
This is a really, really big step.
And finally tell her story.
So pretty.
In a Spotlight special investigation, the warning signs were there, but no one was listening.
It's pure evil.
Was this justice?
There was no trial, and that was it.
Now the killer has been released.
She's being allowed to have day release.
That was too much.
I'll fight to the day I die.
Justice for Biddy.
Hello and welcome to Spotlight. I'm Michael Usher. We've been wanting to share this story with you for months. It is the story of a smart and vibrant 10-year-old girl called Bridget, but known as Biddy. Until now, her name, her face and her story have been cruelly lost in a mountain of legal documents and complicated legislation. You see, Biddy was brutally killed by a teenager she played with the day before. In order to protect the teenage killer, so much of Biddy's story has been banned by a court fearing it could identify the killer. Her parents lived in fear of mentioning their daughter's name in public. Well, tonight we help Biddy's parents remember their beautiful daughter and tell the confronting full story for the first time.
I'm so shining. I can twinkle like a star. I'm so shining. I can twinkle like a star.
It would be hard to imagine how anyone could pack more into 10 years of life.
I chose wind as my project.
Creative, athletic, musical. And a writer way beyond her years.
Here's the Anzac one. Screaming and yelling like sirens, my eardrums burn. My arm emerges from the sheets and mutes the anarchy. Wow. Wow.
Oh no, she's a clever girl. Yeah.
Wow.
And definitely a daddy's girl.
My dad's name is Dalton. He is 44 years old. He has black hair and brown eyes. His favourite food is chips. His favourite colour is black. He likes to watch the news. My favourite things to do with Dad is we like to go outside. I love my dad. Happy Father's Day 2016.
This was the daughter parents dream about.
Hi guys, it's my mom's birthday.
Gosh, I just miss her little presence. I miss her giggles. I miss caring for her.
I got an angel. I love her. So pretty.
I miss loving her. I miss her love. She was a very sweet girl. She slept with me in my bed every night. She'd always come into our bed, and I miss that.
Adored and admired at her tiny bush primary school.
Well, there you go. Oh, that breaks your heart. I know heaven will be a beautiful place because they have you.
Yep.
I will miss you. From Arthur.
P.S. Here's a lollipop for you to have when you're in heaven.
Rebecca, finally we can sit here and tell Biddy's story. To get to this point, to be able to speak publicly about your daughter, how important is that for you?
It's hugely important, Michael. Yeah, we haven't been able to have her name spoken in public, have her face shown in public. So this is a really, really big step and a huge thing for Bridget and for her family.
In the 4 years since their daughter was killed, Rebecca and Dominic Porter have barely survived, drowning in grief and loss and believing they'd been silenced by a court order forbidding publication of their daughter's name.
How much trauma on your trauma has it given you to have to suppress your daughter's memory and identity?
Well, she's name was faceless and just a number, which she's not. Yeah.
What Rebecca and Dominic were never told, as they floundered in the complex law of child killings, was that identifying their daughter to the world was allowed, but only with their consent. And in the cruelest twist, only because she is deceased.
What were you led to believe?
That, we weren't able to name her. The list goes on.
Well, this is a consent to identify form that you, as the father of Bridget, I love her full name too, by the way. In fact, do you want to read that out?
Yep. I'm the father of Bridget Charlize Adele Biddy Porter, and as such, I am a senior available next of kin, and I consent to my daughter's identification in connection with criminal proceedings relating to her death.
I did not think I had the power to do this. I thought that for 20 years, she would be voiceless, nameless, and faceless.
The power is yours.
Thank you, Michael.
I'll give you that pen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, Bridget's story can be told. What a great place to grow up. This is Biddy's childhood home, a country village just outside of Orange in New South Wales. She was safe and she was loved at the local primary school. And it's here where there's the only public tribute to young Biddy's life, a plaque on a swing at the back of the playground.
When Mullion Creek Primary broke for the winter holidays of 2020, so began the path of tragedy for the Porter family.
On that day in 2020, what were the circumstances of Bridget going to that property?
About 4 days beforehand, I dropped Bridget to my mum's and dad's, and she was actually meant to stay with them, but my parents had an appointment, so it was decided she'd go to the farm. She was meant to stay there for a week and then go back to mum's and dad's.
As far as you knew, and Rebecca knew, and Bridget knew, this was a safe place, a place she'd been to before?
Yep. As far as I was aware, she was actually with Rebecca. Yep.
Earlier that year, Dom and Beck had separated. But the farm was a familiar place for Biddy. And to make the drive easier for everyone, the two drivers met roughly halfway. For Biddy, who didn't have a sister, the excitement was understandable. There were two girls in the welcoming party. What she could not know was that one of them would be her killer.
So you hadn't known at the time the chain of events that had led her to be?
No.
And how's that left you feeling?
Although I'm not responsible, it's that ongoing thought process around you're a parent, you're responsible for the safety of your child. So that aspect's been ongoingly hard for me to deal with.
This new shared custody of Biddy meant that some wires were crossed.
My kids have gone there their whole lives. It was a happy place, a fun place. It's the farm, it's the country, there's animals and, yeah.
As best you knew too, a safe place.
Yes, Yes.
But there was something Biddy's parents did not know that others did. Well before Biddy arrived, there'd been some disturbing behaviour from the oldest of this trio. Even at this point, there were enough red flags to mean that nobody was really safe.
As I explained to you, making inquiries in regards to the death of Bridget Porter earlier this morning.
This is the police record of interview with Biddy's killer, revealing just how dangerous that farm had become.
Did anybody know that this young killer had thoughts?
Most definitely. It was well known within the family.
You spoke about before about there was a conversation with your mum a couple of weeks ago. Got some information that you told your mum. You thought about killing her and your dad. You actually told your mum that. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah.
It was well known within the people around her. It was well known within the Department of Education as far as the incidents at the school. It was definitely a known aspect of things.
The killer's mother asked for psychiatric help on a MyGP phone consultation, but was still waiting for a call back when Biddy died. At school, there'd been a fight where a pair of scissors was thrown.
So took something of yours and wouldn't give it back, and you got in a fight with him last week. Is that right?
Yes, because he wouldn't give it back to me and he wasn't really giving me any other choice.
What was it that actually you threw at him? Don't want to say?
No.
Okay. So a pair of scissors, there was a lot of ongoing behaviour that indicated that there was quite a high propensity for violence.
Do you believe the killer's parents knew of that propensity?
Most definitely.
Other things were known, yes.
Like what?
The killing of animals that had happened a year or two before, killing of farm animals.
I mentioned the killing of the chickens. The information we got is that you killed 6 of your mum's chickens. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
Why did you kill the chickens?
Because I felt like it.
So they were aware.
They were aware, yeah.
Police would later reveal that the eldest of the playgroup invited Biddy to be part of her special game called Serial Killers.
Did you ask Lee or did you ask Bridget or tell your mum later on, or did they tell your mum that you wanted to play serial killers but they didn't want to, and so you just played chases and tips?
Serial killers, as in the term, as in pretend I'm the serial killer and you're the victims. Just run away and I'll be just a bit intimidating and stuff. So it makes the game more a bit, puts it a bit more on edge.
There was a fascination with knives, it would
Yes,
appear.
a fascination with knives, a collection of knives, several knives, and a small axe, and a tomahawk.
Recently your dad's bought you a little tomahawk item, and you call it Tommy, is that right?
Yeah.
Presented as gifts or something, or?
I think so, because she had a fascination they were given to her, and I just don't understand that.
This was obviously kept quiet by the family.
It was kept very quiet. I had no idea.
It was too late when detectives discovered the most awful truth of what was about to happen, written in the killer's own words.
There were diary entries pre-showing a desire, a lust to kill, a want to kill.
Have you read those diary entries?
Yes, I've read them through media, through what the media has published, yeah.
Would it hurt you now if I read any of those back to you or not?
No, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So this is the killer writing in her diary. I fantasize about killing people all the time. It's not sometimes, it's all the time. Every moment I have spare is planning and thinking about killing someone. I'll then kill my mum. I'll kill her by stabbing her in the back and slicing her throat. But the fun only starts when I get to my sister. And the details go on there, which are beyond brutal and vile.
Biddy's name wasn't mentioned in that diary, but this 10-year-old was reading the signs that adults had been slow to act on.
Did you have any arguments with Bridget last night?
No, other than her saying that I'm creepy and I should be in a mental hospital. She just slapped her and shook her head.
So where did she say that at?
At the table.
Okay. All right. And so Bridget said that. And how did that make you feel when she said that?
Furious. I get told that a lot at school.
Okay, that you're creepy and you should be in a mental...
I get called a psycho, B-I-D-C-H.
Okay.
I quite often gave the analogy around, you've left my child with a dangerous animal, a lion, and put her in a room and expected something not to happen. If I had a child in my care, I would have a duty of care to ensure that they were safe, and that was definitely not done.
Okay, and those knives, you collect knives, is that right?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
So how many knives do you have?
4.
4? Okay, what are the knives' names?
Storm, Rue, Ray, Lou.
According to police records, on that Wednesday morning, the plan was for Biddy to rise early and help milk a cow. The killer was still in bed, and her mother and sister were already up and waiting for Biddy. Biddy came to the kitchen table, still sleepy, and it was agreed she would stay at the house. The police timeline suggests that shortly after they left the house, the killer was out of bed. At this point, there are only 2 people in the homestead: Biddy and the killer, now awake, on the move, and aware that Biddy was by herself and unprotected. At around 7 a.m, the milking party returned to the house. What they discovered was almost beyond comprehension. The house was awash with blood. Biddy was on the floor in a bedroom. Police and then ambulance did their best. But at 7:27 a.m, Biddy Porter was declared life extinct. The killer was gone, but had left a note.
Also in your room, there's some a notepad written on that, tell them I'm sorry. Did you write that?
Yeah,
What was that in relation to?
for my friends.
For your friends. And that was because you promised them last night you weren't going to do anything rash. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And by doing anything rash, does that mean that you weren't going to hurt anyone last night? Is that what you promised your friends?
No.
What happened after the killer took Bridget's life?
Fled the scene to another neighbouring property, was missing for a period of time, then attended a neighbouring farmhouse and made them aware of what she'd done, requested that they contact the police.
That sounds like a fairly cool and collected young person after what is a beyond horrific killing.
Most definitely.
Biddy had been dead for less than 2 hours when detectives found her killer sitting in a neighbour's garden.
I don't expect you to see customer see We're just recording our conversation at the moment, okay?
It was the first sign the killer was aware of what she'd done, calling police to her exact location.
We've been told that something's happened with your 10-year-old at home earlier this morning. And that she's... Did you have anything to do with that?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do to her?
First thing, when I woke up, I grabbed my...
When was the first that you knew something had happened?
I got a phone call from the police, which wasn't unusual in my role as bank manager.
So you thought it was just another call from the police in relation to your job as the local bank manager, and that happened every now and then?
And it could have been to do with something that was going on in another branch, could have been absolutely anything. Then the police attended the branch, took me into an office, informed me, and a lot of stuff from there is really blank. I think I put my fist through a wall. And basically then I was left to my own devices. There was no sort of further assistance from the police. I drove myself home.
Really?
Yeah, there was just no support.
Do you have problems with you?
She's annoying.
Okay. How old are you?
14.
14.
Like Dom, Rebecca Porter was at work. She's a mental health peer support worker.
I got a call from a relative screaming on the phone saying what's happened to Bridget, and then I got a call from Dominic saying that she was dead, and I thought that they were joking. Like, my immediate thought was, and I kept thinking, that's not a funny joke. Like, why would you joke about something like that? That's not funny. I couldn't believe it. And then I hung up the phone and I just thought, I've just got to get myself home. So I drove home, and then I rang the town's local police station, and they sent a couple of police officers out to me, to my house where I was. But I was in deep shock. I kept my brain, it was trying to process it, so it would come into my mind and I'd start crying for about 30 seconds and then I'd jolt back out because I was so in such deep shock. But yeah, my brain just couldn't process it.
Because you're a juvenile, you're under the age of 16, you have to have someone at the police station that can assist you or be present when you're spoken to by the police or something like that. Okay?
There's no making sense of what you're hearing.
Yep.
Can you recall what you were thinking?
It started off as there was an accident, and then when they sort of got into a bit more detail, I went, that's not an accident, that's a killing.
Do you understand what you've done?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Don't feel anything about it.
Well, they tried to present it softly to you initially.
Correct, yeah.
Not the truth.
Not the truth, yeah. And yeah, also from the killer's family, conversations with them, it was just an accident. And it's like...
So in those initial phone calls you had with the killer's family?
Yeah, correct.
So, just stand up for me.
Do you have anything on you at the moment other than that?
So, nothing in your pockets or anything for me?
No.
Come through this way.
I guess at what stage after this shock that you've been through, and perhaps it's during the period of shock, did you realise that the circumstances in which Bridget died were extraordinary and horrific?
Well, when the detectives came and I asked them what had happened, it felt like a horror movie. I couldn't believe it. It was so horrific and I couldn't fathom it. It felt evil. It felt like I was living in the script of a horror movie and I just couldn't believe it. And I just prayed that I wished any other death for my daughter. I wished that she died in any other way rather than this. If she had to die, why can't it be in a car accident or drowning or of an illness rather than having to have her life ended in such a brutal way that most adults wouldn't be able to cope with and endure, and she had to endure that as a little girl.
You said evil.
Yes. Yeah, I do believe it's evil. There's no other way to describe what happened. It's pure evil.
Bridget became a target of that evil on the first night of her stay. It was at the dinner table, as revealed to detectives in the record of interview after the killing.
Had Bridget done anything to you?
Other than try to break my fingers.
Okay, when did she do that?
A couple nights ago. We were playing the game Slap.
Yeah.
And she was a bit of a sore loser. And so I was reaching out for, can't remember what it was, maybe a high five or something. I was doing that. And my fingers were like that, and she went like that to them. Fairly hard.
On the Tuesday, the killer was chasing Biddy, and it sounded as though she was running for her life.
I've been told that Bridget got a scratch on her arm or got a sore arm or something like that.
She fell on the barbed wire fence and scraped something against the dirt.
So, were you playing hide and seek or?
Hide and seek tips.
Tips, okay.
Biddy later said she fell into prickles and cried because she was being chased by the killer who carried a knife named Lou.
Did you have Lou with you then, but it was closed up, not open? So just pretending that the knife as a serial killer or not?
Yeah.
When you've come back home, you've kicked a hole in the door or in the wall in your room, in the gyprock. Did that happen?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I was frustrated, but it wasn't for just that reason. It was for a number of reasons.
As punishment for the hole in the wall, the killer's mother confiscated 2 knives and a game console.
So after Dad took your stuff off you, so that made you a bit angry in regards to what Dad said. Did you have any bad feelings towards Dad or Mum or other people in the house last night? Don't want to answer?
No.
Later that evening, the killer began texting her frustrations to a friend.
Did you go into Dad's room with a knife after Dad had gone, Mum had gone to bed? You did?
No.
Did you tell that you had? Don't want to answer?
No.
Okay. Just show you some things which we've got off Mum's phone. You can see that?
Yeah.
So at 8:36 you're telling that you're good, I guess, just feeling rather odd lately. And you've said further down that something bad is going to happen and it's something irreversible. You want to tell me anything about that?
No.
You've got in here that you've got your bag packed and you're ready to leave. And then you've said further down, it says, I'm going to kill my parents. But I can't tell, it isn't real, is it? Do you want to tell me anything about that?
No.
And yes, it doesn't matter how many times I say to Mum or Dad that I want to or going to kill someone, they don't take me seriously. They think I'm joking, but I'm being dead serious. Have you told Mum and Dad that you want to kill someone?
Don't want to answer.
Okay. And then it's a bit cut off here, but it says, I just walked into their room holding a big ass knife about to stab Dad. Don't want to answer?
No.
Why she didn't attack her father, who gave her the tomahawk, remains a mystery. But with the new day came Plan B. The killer's father had left for work and the two others had gone to milk the cow. Suddenly, she was alone with the smallest, most vulnerable person in the house. And that bag was still packed.
What do you think would happen to you if you got found that you had done those things to Bridget? What do you think would happen to the person who'd done those things to Bridget?
Go to jail.
Okay. In regards to what's happened with Bridget this morning, we're going to charge you with murdering Bridget. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have a very special memory of Bridget, don't you?
I do, Michael. Yes, on here are her fingerprints. Yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah. So that's a very special memory. They were taken kindly by the lady in forensics when they did her autopsy. Yeah, and they're very, very dear to me. So I wear them all the time.
Dear Advocacy Australia team, hi, I'm the mother of a 10-year-old girl who was killed in regional New South Wales in 2020 by a young person. I am asking for your support with a petition to take to Parliament to make changes to victim support scheme after my experience as a victim of crime.
Of all the people Rebecca Porter wrote to in the months and years after Biddy's death, only one answered. Well, two actually. The mother and daughter who run Advocacy Australia come as a team and for no charge. When you first heard of Bridget's story and what her parents had been through, how did you react reading the details of what had happened to Bridget?
It was gut-wrenching. It was like reading a screenplay for a horror film, to be honest. And knowing what they'd experienced, I couldn't imagine it.
I didn't know what to say when I read it. Rebecca approached us via email, and our first thought is, how can we help these people? What can we do for them? Because it just seemed so extraordinary that they hadn't had the support that they'd needed from the get-go.
A beautiful young girl. Her life has been taken in the most horrific circumstances. The family have been really struggling. You know, my time as both a police officer and prosecutor now in MP, nearly 30 years, it's the worst case I've seen, by far.
In fact, the first officer on the scene, we understand, has never returned to work from what he witnessed.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, from what I've read in the brief, the documents that were provided to me, a horrific scene. Would have been a horrific scene.
Phil Donato is the independent member for Orange, where Biddy Porter grew up. As a police prosecutor turned politician, he believes the Porters have been tragically let down, beginning with Biddy's arrival at the farm. Well, she went to a safe place that day, what her family thought was a safe place.
That's right. And as it turned out to be the most awful of places.
Has there been any justice for them?
I don't think so. When you look at what's happened with the court case and the whole way that the court case was handled and dealt with, I think they've got a fair right to feel aggrieved and let down by the system. That's why I was prepared to do whatever I can to help them.
This is the last photo of Beck with her Biddy taken on the Sunday before she died. During the trial, were you given everything that you should have been given access to?
We haven't been given access to anything. We had a brief meeting with the DPP before we went to trial, with them convincing us that the best course of action would be to go for the act proven but criminally not responsible due to mental illness, because it would mean that she would spend a lot longer put away.
Let's be clear about this. The Crown Prosecutor for the DPP says to the parents, what?
There's an option of manslaughter or which would mean she'd be out on parole in 6 years. Alternatively, we can go down the mental health path in which she'd be behind bars for at least 13 years.
The DPP notes from that meeting with Beck and Dom confirmed the outcome would mean a limiting term longer than the non-parole period for manslaughter. The prosecutor estimated it could be as high as 18 years, but mentioned 13 years as being within the range.
Based on that advice, they thought, OK, we should go down that path. He also said that he needed to have it all wrapped up within a week. So he notified them via email on the 1st of July that it all needed to be wrapped up by the 7th of July.
All this was included in written complaints to the DPP, which denied there was undue haste or misleading advice. But that whole scenario that he was presenting did not result in a trial as such.
No trial. There was no trial. Rebecca and Dom went into court. There was some papers shuffled between the perpetrator's lawyer and the Crown, and that was it. It was done.
Special verdict delivered?
Yep.
Dealt with?
Done.
End of the matter?
Precisely.
All that quickly?
Yes.
That quickly.
Was that justice?
No, not in their mind. Their daughter did not get justice. And when they left the court, the lead investigator said, there's been a massive miscarriage of justice done today. You need access to the agreed facts and the brief of evidence.
They weren't showed the agreed facts, which is something which I believe, as a former police prosecutor myself, they should have been shown that opportunity to read those agreed facts as to what gets presented to the judge to read upon determining the
So they were never shown that? Never asked to review it?
My understanding is they were never shown those agreed facts. We've been trying to get a copy of those agreed facts for the family to read. And when the DPP are refusing to show them what the agreed facts were, it makes the family start to question, well, what's in there that they don't want us to see?
Now, the agreed facts will help the parents understand how the decisions around how the killer was dealt with, and it will give them a better understanding of how that came into play.
Have you tried to get those details now?
We have tried over and over again. We've written to the Director of Public Prosecutions. Rebecca and Dominic wrote a very, very detailed letter, I think 10, 12 pages long, and the response was no.
Come through this way.
It is called a special verdict, and the killer is now a patient in the care of the Mental Health Review Tribunal. The Crown Prosecutor's words proved no comfort to the Porters.
Because he has no control over how long the Mental Health Review Tribunal actually keep the perpetrator. It could be longer, it could be less, there's no guarantee.
But the problem was moved on.
But the problem was moved on. And I think, and the family thinks, because of the nature of this act, of how heinous it was, people just wanted it off their desks as quickly as possible.
Move it to the Mental Health Review Tribunal.
Yep.
It's their problem forevermore.
Yep, precisely.
So when you're out there sailing on Biddy,
Yep.
that's as close as you can be to, I guess, a free memory
Yes.
of your daughter?
Most definitely.
Look, here's Daddy's present. Hold it very carefully.
Free memory of her, and yeah, just an escape.
And no people, why is that important?
Just with the PTSD, it's very difficult to be in crowds. Always checking your surroundings. Can't be in loud places. It's extremely difficult. Shopping centres, restaurants, the full bit is very difficult.
There was a particular thing that was said to you. Do you mind if I ask you that? A forensic social worker said to you exactly what?
We're just in the process of putting Bridget back together.
It's just horrific.
Yep.
And the only moment you had with her was to be able to touch her foot, and that was it?
Yep. So at the moment of the funeral, I was specifically told I was only allowed to touch her foot because if I touched any other part of her, she would fall apart.
There are actually no words for that.
No, there's not.
You know, there are men who've been blown up in war that suffer less PTSD than what you're describing.
Yep. And I met plenty of veterans within my stays at St John of God, and they all say that, you know, my story is far more traumatic than theirs, and my response always is everyone's trauma is their own trauma.
The one thing Dominic and Rebecca Porter now have in common with their daughter's killer is a diagnosis of mental illness. What's not the same is the amount of care they receive.
As a patient, under the Mental Health Review Tribunal,
yes,
this killer is given a lot of support.
Extreme amount of support. So she received psychiatric support, which I'm unable to access. She received psychological support, which I was receiving up until last year. Unfortunately, my psychologist was very broken by the whole process as well. And the majority...
Sorry, your psychologist was broken by what you were sharing with her?
Correct. And even under care within the PTSD ward, mental health hospital, there weren't any psychologists who could deal with the details. I ended up comforting them more than they were supporting me.
What an absolutely terrible situation to be in.
Exactly.
Have you had any help?
Just recently, I first paid for my own help when I was working, and I could afford that. But then after I had a mental breakdown about 18 months after Bridget died. So I have delayed onset PTSD. I had 3 months off, then I went back to work, and then I had a breakdown, and then I couldn't go back to work after that.
Today, your treating team is asking the tribunal to continue your stay in hospital as an involuntary patient.
The Mental Health Review Tribunal, which controls the future of Biddy's killer, has made its own reenactment video of a hearing.
We are required today to consider whether or not you are a mentally ill person and whether or not you should remain in hospital, or if there is a less restrictive alternative that would be appropriate.
The patient is represented by a doctor, a lawyer, his mother, and a nurse. Victims are only allowed written submissions, which must be made 3 weeks in advance.
It's extremely secretive. It's a very, very disempowering system. They say that victims have the right to participate, but every experience we've had has shown that we don't. They're a power unto themselves, the Mental Health Review Tribunal. We just want them to be more transparent.
Every time the Mental Health Review Tribunal meets, a different outcome. I just expect the worst, and that way I'm not disappointed, basically.
It sounds like a bit of a charade, and with a bit of lip service that you can have some say, but actually letting you have no say at all.
I couldn't say it more perfectly myself, Michael. That's exactly what it is. It's lip service that we're given, and it is a charade, and they just pretend that they're there to let victims have a say.
So again, in that, Bridget has no voice.
Bridget has no voice.
This is an important safeguard.
In its messages to patients, the tribunal makes its objectives very clear.
One of its primary functions is to ensure that any order it makes about you is the least restrictive order that is consistent with safe and effective care.
The killer was allowed day release under supervision.
Yes.
Day release was the reason why Rebecca and Dominic just reached out. That was too much. That was too much.
Day release for her, the benefit of her therapy and well-being, and yeah, while we were still living in agony, struggling to even get mental health support for ourselves as her parents, and Bridget's dead and she's being allowed to have outings.
These people don't get day release from their life of misery and pain. We need to look at why Bridget was left alone with the killer of their daughter, who had clearly displayed aggression, violence, and had provided information that she intended to kill somebody.
I can only conclude the day release was a step toward some form of parole.
That's the feeling I got when I spoke to my representatives at Specialist Victim Support Service, who helped me navigate and support me through the mental health review tribunals. That's what I said. I said to them, does this mean now you're getting her ready for release? And it was kind of alluded that, yes, that might be the case. And I cried and I cried and I cried.
My words that I use quite often, it just doesn't pass the pub test. If I walked into the local pub down the road, spoke to a bloke I didn't even know and said, this is what's happened to my daughter, what did you think should happen? 100% of the time they're going to say that shouldn't happen in Australia or anywhere.
This looks like a very special room, Rebecca.
It is a special room, Michael. It's the room I have set up in memory of Bridget.
You can see everywhere great images of her.
Yes, yeah, lots of memories, lots of photos, her little trinkets, clothes made into a quilt.
Oh, show me that.
Yeah, this is her school uniform, and it's her school uniform, her pillowcase, bits and pieces of her clothing.
Really? And someone's made it into a quilt?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So this was all the cats here was her favourite pillowcase?
Yes, that was her favourite pillowcase, and yeah.
So all the fabric are parts of uniforms and things that were close?
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Special thing. What does that say on the back?
It says, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with a heart. In loving memory of Bridget Charlisa Del Porter.
How should we remember Bridget?
Bridget wanted to be a journalist. She wanted to tell stories. She wanted a voice. She needs to be remembered for that. Sorry.
We'll make sure that she is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she would like her story to be told so that no other family goes through what her family went through. Because all the signs were there, but they didn't listen to them. Nobody listened to them.
There were red flags everywhere. These sorts of things don't come out of a clear blue sky.
This is what stands out here, the inequity. It screams of a major problem, that the perpetrator, the killer, is afforded all of the support in the world, and that includes legal support as well as psychiatric support, and every right.
Yes.
The victims, Bridget's parents, have been cast aside.
Completely. It was only as a result of Advocacy Australia contacting the Mental Health Minister, Rose Jackson, that we were able to get mental health support. And you shouldn't have to contact a minister.
You had to go all the way to the top to get some action here.
Yeah.
What happens here? Is there a solution?
Potentially, there is. I'm going to make a statement as a private member statement in Parliament later this year, where I'm going to raise these issues in the Parliament. I've already spoken to the Attorney General and the various other ministers about this.
Because there was no inquest either,
no,
was there?
There wasn't.
And that was a quick decision not to hold the coroner's inquest.
Yeah, and that sometimes, when there are criminal charges running parallel, that's That's not uncommon.
Given everything we've learned since and the way the process was handled, shouldn't that be called for now?
It could be. There's nothing stopping that happening. I mean, there's no statute of limitations on when a coronial inquest can be conducted.
Believing Biddy's name could not be made public has shunted her parents' grief and hidden the loss of a remarkable young person. Dom, everything in here has significance for you in remembering Bridget.
Definitely.
Would you like to show me a few things?
Yep. So this little artwork here, she actually won first prize, but it didn't actually get published or judged until after the killing.
That's a real quirky piece. That's some creativity right there.
Yeah, definitely.
What do we have here in the orbs?
So these are bits of her ashes scattered throughout those orbs, and I usually get one for each occasion. Birthday, Christmas, that kind of thing.
What a beautiful memory.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand you had a tattoo for Bridget, did you?
I did, yes. Yep, so across my top left shoulder, Mento Vitae, in Latin meaning remember to live, her final drawing, and then her details. Again, part of my mantra around life is one foot in front of the other.
Do you speak to her?
I do, yeah, I do speak to her. I speak to her all the time. And I say I'm sorry for what happened to her. And that I love her. And that I'll be with her one day.
I like this extra bright star name deed. So a star has been named after her?
Correct.
If you look up tonight,
yep,
and if you've got the right bearings,
yes, exactly,
you'll find Bridgie's star.
Fortunately, my sailing abilities gives me the ability to do so.
So her star shines brightly.
Most definitely, always.